Peace. What up, Black family? I'm in a different location. Hopefully now, so my live feed don't be breaking up and all that. It's been a couple of days. I've been going through a couple things, but you know, I'm never out of the spirit. I'm always working and trying to manifest. Sometimes I just have to deal with what's going on with me, myself spiritually and mentally, intellectually, and emotionally, and things like that. Focus on family more than Facebook. I am here for a purpose, and I am dedicated and committed to using this as a platform for education. So today what I'm going to be talking about, if y'all see my last video, peace, God is peace, Bernadette. I see. If y'all see my last video I did on activating your super senses, I mentioned about the spiritual side of it. How I really kind of didn't get into the spiritual side of it. I dealt with, activating it from your lower self, your physical side, your organic nature, and then so now I'm going to speak more on the spiritual side, how to meet your spiritual with your physical side, and things that's been going on to suppress this or take this away from us, these abilities, and because our super senses is something that actually one time, like when we speak on dealing with being extraterrestrial or super this or cosmically this and all that, it's actually something that was at one time natural to us. It was part of our day-to-day life. It was normalized. It's become denormalized as we become more desensitized and as descendants instead of ascendants from those people that came before us, those beings that came before us. So by you calling ourselves descendants, it's more so like we really kind of didn't even really learn what we were supposed to be learning. So we devolved. So I prefer to consider myself an ascendant because I feel myself to be more evolved than those people that in my current ancestry, my most recent ancestry, I should say. So the whole concept I want to get into with this, I got my notes right here to the side of my phone, so y'all see me keep looking over there. I got a different setup going on right now. So when I was studying this and going over the details I wanted to go over, I was trying to figure out a methodology I could go through, the best way for me to present this information to you. And the way I couldn't really it was so much that really needed to be grasped and dissected and broken down because when you're really dealing with the process of activating your super senses, you have to kind of understand how your super senses was deactivated in the first place. How you devolved in the first place. So I'm going to get into I'm going to try to touch on some things and the way I try to structure my notes is so that you can touch, so that you can be able to perceive things. I give you basically like cornerstones or nuggets. And based off of that, I want to give you a clear picture, but at the same time, it's not the complete picture. It's enough, but it's enough so that you can then go on and venture into your own and perform your own works. So the one thing that I really want to talk about with activating your super senses is something that I mentioned before with how everything is a sense of vibration. So to activate your super senses, you really have to tune into activating your natural senses, your organic senses. Your sense of taste, your sense of touch, your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, your sense of seeing, your sense of feeling. And you have to understand all your senses as a sense of vibration, a sense of feeling. This is where you get into people saying they're not emotional. We all are emotional beings. Every one of us are emotional because we all feel something. And emotion deals with energy motions. That's what emotions is. It's energy motions. But it's the internal energy motions. So we call it emotions. And everything being a sense of touch or a sense of vibration, a sense of feeling, you have to look at things from the perspective of, that everything is connected to each other. Peace, power, love, ascension. I see you, Betty. One love. But you have to look at everything as connected. There's just in this crystallized form, this manifestation we have we have our senses all compartmentalized and like a crystal shines light in different directions just through the prisms of the crystals. So you got to look at it like your senses right now are being reflected through the prism of your crystal, of who you are, your organic crystal. But ultimately, all of these senses are a sense of vibration. The sense of vibration is ultimately leads to energy. Period. Just being in tune with energy field with energy itself, and being able to comprehend, like, where you can start to cross reference your energy, your senses, and all that. Like, how they say, like, it smells like you can say that something smells like a taste, or something tastes like a smell, or something sounds like what it looks like, or or that person doesn't look like what they sound like, or like this is you cross referencing your sensory systems, and making mean that you've been sensitized. You're increasing your sensitivity to things. And part of what I've talked about in my last video is how we physically manifest here, dealing with our we're here as a fragile being, the most fragile beings, although we are the most intelligent beings. We are the most fragile of all species on this planet, all energy combinations on this planet. And that's the purpose of that, is because we are able to synthesize energy more. We're able to integrate with energy patterns. Oh shit! Yeah, I see. I'm going. It tend to always interrupt, but I'm gonna try to keep it moving. I just wait for it to come back into the camera. For it to connect again, then I come back on here and keep it going. So the one thing I really want to get into right now, with this video specifically, is trying to integrate the organic teachings from my first video with the education, dealing with the spiritual side of things. And the way that really kind of helped me understand, super sensory and activating your super senses was, for one, like I said in the first video, my vegetarian diet. That helped me get in tune and become more sensitive to energy. And but it's a concept that I'm not sure. I really haven't heard of it before. Maybe y'all heard of it. Heka. Anybody ever heard of Heka magic? If y'all don't know what Heka magic is, Heka magic deals with non-dualism. I spoke on non-dualism when I talked about the power of majestic imagination. How you have to basically fold this book on universal laws, close this book, and rewrite this book of reality for ourselves. And and by doing that, I'm saying you have to basically cheat the universal laws. You have to, like, the universal laws are in place. There's people that's out there manipulating universal laws. So you basically have to do like a reverse manipulation of universal laws, or basically like trick yourself out of the tricknology. And so in doing that is dealing with Heka magic. Heka magic is what they called the source, magical powers, abilities that we're able to tap into in ancient Kemet, Nubia, and Medu Neter, all that stuff. Heka magic, Heka, Heka. Heka is where the goddess Hecate comes from. That's in Greek and Greco-Roman mythology. And so Heka magic is basically what they call originally were like the people that's considered All right, here we go. Heka magic. Heka magic comes from the motherland and all that. Heka magic deals with basically is non-dualistic magic, like being able to tap into what they call now. They're using it in this form of calling it Luciferian magic, or Luciferian witchcraft, where they talk about there is no such thing as evil, there is no good, there is no evil, it's just energy. Well, I'm sure y'all probably heard of that concept. Well, that concept is based off of Heka teachings, and these deities that's considered to be tapped into, like a cartoon like Tahuti or Juti or Thoth or Ptah or Hermes. Yeah, Hermes, Plato, Socrates, they all was considered to be, what they actually was learning when they went to these. Because keep in mind that for like the underworld magic and underworld teachings, I think Bobby Hemmett said it. All ancient deities, African deities, motherland deities, even American native indigenous peoples, our deities are all the most powerful deities. Those deities that's considered the heavenly deities are those that's considered the overworld, or or of heaven, and this sphere of existence. So all the underworld deities are the most powerful of all deities. So that's why I had told you in a few videos back. I was like, yo, you should always, you should always start with the underworld deities when you deal with spiritual systems or try to figure out spiritual systems. Always start with the underworld energies. So in Medu Neter or in Kemetic or Nubian or the ancient teachings, you would be dealing with like Anpu or Anubis or Wap Wawet or Kebhut or Nebhut or Nephthys or who else would it be? The Titans, and which is the gods before the gods, the creators of gods, will be the Titans, and so that's that. But that's what I'm going to get into now, to dealing with the spiritual system as far as Olympians versus the Titans, because when you deal with the dualism, that's basically like the clearest outline of dualism and how we've been affected in our physical manifestation. Is dealing with it's called Titanomy or Titanomancy or something like that. It deals with Titanmachy or some shit, but it's basically dealing with the dualism. How the gods, how there was one group of gods that's the new was considered the younger gods. They separated themselves from the ancient ones and actually went to war with the ancient ones and took to take over this whole energy grid. And by taking over the energy grid, they set some things in motion because they didn't have the full, complete wisdom of the ancient ones. So they started, instead of them consulting with the ancient ones as they were supposed to do in order to learn life and existence and purpose and destiny and all that kind of stuff, they basically started to play it by ear and, live off their own experiences and stuff like that. Kind of what we got to do in reverse now. We got to live off of our own experiences and be the first source of reference. So we deal with Heka magic. You're dealing with the knowledge that they call in Luciferian witchcraft or Luciferian wisdom or Luciferian teachings, which is they deal with everything in reverse now. Like they read the Bible in reverse. They read the Quran in reverse. They read every ancient teaching in reverse. They conduct their spells and their magic rituals and stuff, everything in reverse of what it is right now today, because they feel like everything has been corrupted. So they do everything in reverse to reverse the corruption that's been put into everything. Which is powerful magic and meaningful magic depending on your perception, because all magic is perception based. That's why everybody can't perform the same ritual and get the same results, because everybody doesn't have the same perception. So rituals, things of that nature got to be ceremonies, got to be tailored to your perception, what you accepted. So that's why you may see where you mix different spiritual systems, or you might see somebody that got a pentagram with an ankh or something like that, because those are symbols that resonate according to their perceptions. So with Heka magic, it's dealing with the ability to see things in a non-dualistic aspect, meaning that there is no opposites. There are things like basically what you would consider polar opposites or dualities are actually would be considered the same thing. Like they say, Set and Osiris are twin brothers. But when you deal with the spirituality of Set and Osiris, you understand Set, Osiris, and Heru are all one being. They make up masculine, the different aspects and reflections of masculine energy, and what masculine energy's abilities and flexibilities are. Where you deal with Ma'at, Sekhmet, Kali, Medusa, what else is it? Man, I forgot a lot. I done forgot a lot of them, but you got all the different divine feminine beings, divine feminine energies. It's basically like what the concept of Heka magic. What Heka magic would be right now would be us right now looking at ourselves as melanated beings. This is the kind of magic that they're trying to keep us away from, which is the whole concept of unity. They're trying to keep us from unifying, because when we deal with unifying, black people unifying as a collective and working our energy, working the energy grid as a collective, that within itself, that's considered Heka magic. That's considered in the Heka is where you get the term hex from. That's why they talk about hexes, and hexes is where you get the concept of curses from, or spells, or and all that from. All of it comes from Hekaism or Heka magic, Heka teachings. Heka deals with unity, the unified energy grid. how everything is everything, all is all. That's Hecka teachings. So and then with the best way that I understood this when I dealt with trying to reverse concept and ideas of who we are and how we got to this point of being so desensitized that we have to activate our super senses, and then we see our super senses or our extraterrestrial nature as being something that's above and beyond like we seeing ourselves as terrestrial and needing to communicate with extraterrestrial nature, extraterrestrial being, or our higher selves. And I mean, the fact that we see ourselves as lower selves and that there's a higher self that we have to get to reach, that one in itself is a form of spell binding and cursing and things of that nature, or what they call bewitching. You're bewitching yourself. And when you deal with witchcraft, it deals with wizard, which as in WHICH, witchcraft, meaning which one is this, which one is that, which is which, what is this, what is that, and I mean, are you this or that? And we did the same thing dealing with ether. Ether relates to the word either, EITHER, which deals with it's either that or this, or ether deals with the vortex. When we speak of ether, we talk about an energy vortex that's above and beyond this, or in the depths of what we are presently existing in. This, I mean, something beyond it or in the depths of who we are is our ether, and that ether is our bridge to this place that's supposed to be like a Zion type of place for us, or a Zen type of place, or Sion, or this afterlife, this here type of mentality, this crossing this bridge. So when I was studying this Olympians versus the Titans type of spirituality, you know, they teach you about the let me see. First one where I want to get into is the Titans. I told you the Titans was the ancient ones that was used for the ancient teaching, that was the gods that create gods and so on and so forth. They're immortal beings, and we're considered Titans. I mean, us black people are considered Titans. We're the ones considered immortal. We can't die. They can't kill us off. I mean, for them to kill us, the planet itself, Mother Earth, who they call Gaia or Aya or Yahweh or Ea or Yahweh. This whole concept of the God being dealing with the Mother Earth, Mother Nature, would sense our non-presence on this planet and would begin to destroy them. So they understand that they can't keep us, they can't kill us, so they got to imprison us. We consider immortal beings. We're melanated beings. We just re-manifest. If they kill us all off, the whole program of this makes a reboot. And because the universal laws are stained by our energy grids as black people. So this, with this knowledge of the Hecka teachings, they're trying to keep us away from unifying as black people. This is why we got so many schools of thought that's breaking off into different spiritualities and saying this one is wrong, they're right, so on and so forth. This is all spells and curses that have been put on us to stop us from activating this Hecka teachings. And if you study anything, you try to research Hecka, that tell you that there is no concept or spiritual system that teaches Hecka. They'll tell you this, but at the same time, they got the Luciferian teachings that in Luciferian teachings are actually teaching you Hecka knowledge, Hecka teachings in reverse instead of from the black side, it's teaching from the white side. You know, how would that whole Hecka spirituality manifest into a being that's already from this perspective of life, that has mastered this perspective of life and got a certain energy with itself. How they're trying to unify themselves by keeping us destabilized, because this by us being unified itself will begin to activate another level of energy into this grid of magical power. Just the fact that if we unify, we got to be agreeing on everything that we believe or stand on or represent. Just the fact that we become unified as a collective and we all identify ourselves as something common. We're all black, basically. We're all black. The universe is black. The center of the earth is black. The sun is black at the core of the sun. And things of that nature. When we begin to identify ourselves in unison, as a collective, then that within itself is to bring on another wave of magical powers and energies that activate us. And there's some ways that we're going to be activated that we can't control. It's just going to happen just off the strength of our conceptualizations, how we evolve through concepts. And as concepts become normalized, it begins to activate certain things. So this is basically the way that the grid is going to have to be, how are we going to save everybody, basically. How they say, oh, you can't save everybody, you got to save yourself. Some people are destined to be lost. It's not necessarily going to be that. Some people can refuse the magic they see right in front of them. They can refuse this reality, but it's going to be a reality. It's going to be energy coming in a wave. What I call I had to call one time a black blanket that's taking over this earth, a black wave that's taking over us metaphysically or physically. And this black wave is going to activate and open some things and reveal some things to us, and and you can't deny, like obvious apparent symbols and things manifested into this reality that can't be denied. But you can refuse to accept it into your reality. You can try to turn away from it and ignore it. But they won't be able to deny it. I don't care what religion they are, what spiritual system they are. Just like I believe in Arabia. I don't know if y'all seen that video where they got the dragons. They had dragons flying in the skies over Saudi Arabia. And I mean, somebody got that on camera and shit. Somebody actually believes somebody killed one of them or some shit happened. I seen it on the land on the ground. But yeah, they have some dragons and shit flying around. That's been a part of our knowledge, been a part of our teachings. People have been denying that dragons exist. That's fantasy. That's mythology and all that shit. That's just symbolic shit. But that's real shit. Now, whether somebody manifests it through us charging it up through our teachings, so teaching about dragons and draconian energy so much that it's begin to manifest into a reality. I don't know. It's possible. But I do know that dragons is real. I always felt like dragons was real, so they just recorded one. But now let me get into this. Now when they talk about the Titans, now the Titans versus the Olympians, that's significant to me because this is the best concept I was able to come up with to try to figure out what exactly happened to us to become so desensitized and separate ourselves from our super abilities or our highest totalities of ourselves. So the Titans was told they were imprisoned in Tartars. Now we study. Now keep in mind everything deals with etymology. You follow your etymology, your ontology, law and ethnology and all that kind of stuff. You always better figure out what shit is being talked about. So I basically went through a system of breaking everything down etymologically that I was studying and that I was seeing, going back to the etymology of it. So going back to the etymology of things, dealing with the spirituality. I don't know exactly what the spirituality is called, but it deals with the Olympians versus Titans. And the Titans were said to be imprisoned in Tartars. And when I say the etymology of Tartars, it went back to Tartar, which Tartar deals with black or blackness, or the men when they say anytime in ancient teachings when they repeat something, a word that was written twice, like Tartar or Ben or Berber or anything that's where they say a word twice, that's the multitude of this. So when I said it was that we were in prison in Tartars, Tartars represents the multitude of blackness or all the ethnologies of melanated beings, the multitude of melanations, which deals with every melanated ethnicity that's here. That we consider Tartars. We've been imprisoned in Tartars, which is the spiritual energy grids of these different frequency beings, different etheric beings that we consider Tartars. And this is Tartars are the offspring of ether and Gaia. Ether is the same thing as ether. So we've been in prison to the ethers of these other earthly beings, which is these other melanated beings. Basically, we're just saying that we've been trapped inside their spirit, these lower energy frequency spiritual grids. So this will be considered Tartars. Now, Tartarus is the offspring of ether and Gaia, and Tartarus where Hades is. Hades is supposed to be the place of the dead, let me see what I got for Tartaris and Hades. Now, with Hades being the place of the grid, the place of the dead, which is the place of anybody, anytime where you're not activate, you're not living forward to the highest magnification of your etheric frequency. You're living within the totality of yourself, or in completion of what you know you are, what you can be. Then you're considered to be imprisoned inside of a lower energy grid, a lower energy system of some sort. Now you're considered dead. This is mentality. So this is considered Hades is called the place of the dead. Now those beings that oversee Hades, or the god of Hades, is also called Hades. Hades is mentioned in the Bible too. Something about the pale horse and its rider's death, and the death, the horse brings with it Hades all over the earth and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me, so, but the pale horse is considered a pale race. The opaques, they're not white. They're opaque. OPAGUE. Opaque. So the rider is the white man, and Hades is this whole death mentality, or what they call Hellenism or hell. We call Hellenistic Jews and things of that nature. So the heaven of Hades would be, it's called Cerebrus, or Cerebrus, your cerebellum or your cerebral cortex and things of that nature. And the heaven of Hades is considered to have 3 heads, and but the heaven of Hades deals with the dog energy. The dog energy relates back to Anubis. Anubis and the whole dog conscript